This confrontation can cancel your career.
Canceled.
Canceled. Canceled.
Canceled.
Cancel.
Canceled. Canceled.
Cancel.
Canceled.
Canceled.
Cancel.
Culture.
Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cancel Culture Pod, the writer's room where a diverse group of Gen Z female comedy writers write an unoffensive joke about a topic that most might consider a no-fly zone in comedy, that even an old cis white dude, aka my dad, could tell without getting canceled. Today's topic: jokes about Asian people. That's right, we're going to write a joke about Asian people that a white dude, also my dad, could tell without sounding like an asshole. Why?
To show it is possible.
Great, and now that my ears are bleeding, let's take a minute to introduce our players today. And let's all vote. Do you think we can tell a joke about Asian people that even this dude over here could tell? All right, let's see. Elayna, who's a paid dancer at bat mitzvahs. What do you think?
Ooh, I'm feeling kind of so about this one. Yeah, I think it's possible for us to write something funny. I have faith in us. I just think we're gonna have to be really, really sensitive in light of everything that is happening. Gang.
Fair enough. All right, Mehek, who's allergic to cats but willingly chooses to cuddle with one every night, and I believe just let one into her room. There we have it. Oh my God, he's gotten so
Is that
big.
a cat or an elephant?
Don't body
no fat
shaming.
Yeah, no fat shaming the cat.
Say hello to the pod viewers.
God.
Dying.
Hello.
Yeah, he seems really happy.
Me and Franklin think that, yeah, I think we could figure out a way to tell a funny, I think we can do it. I feel confident.
That's if you don't go into anaphylactic shock before the end of the episode, but okay.
This is very true.
Knocking on wood.
All right, Sarah, who drinks water out of a vase. This is true. What do you think?
I have lost faith this week. I'm feeling pretty nervous about it, been biting my nails. I just think with everything that's been going on, like the amount of hate crimes and I think it's touchy right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And I am Jamie. And I'm actually starting my own line of low-rise socks under the local bridge. So find me after
You heard
the
it
pod.
here first.
You heard it here first. I think that we can do it. Hesitant, but I think we can. I think we're smart-ish, adjacent. I don't know.
So true.
I a hesitant yes. All right. And lastly and leastly, Evan, who has all but legally adopted Mehek. Any thoughts?
When did that happen?
To be honest,
Don't worry
she wrote
about it.
that line.
Now I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset because not only did I just get rejected from my adopted father, I also got thrown under the bus by my sister, who just said,
Welcome
you
to
wrote
the
that line.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah,
This is-
like a perfect little window.
Intro, yeah.
All right. Well, they're going to vote. Do you think we can do it?
No, boo, stop talking.
Yeah, shut it,
Just
Dad.
kidding, we actually don't want to hear it. So
Yeah,
That bit
can
is
it?
still going so well, guys. Okay, team. Before we get into examples of bad jokes that have been told about Asian people, let's give a little context. I mean, I'm sure our listeners are well aware of the rise of Asian hate across the globe. We, have seen spikes in not only just physical assault hate crimes, but also just the vitriol and rhetoric around Asian people, especially since the start of COVID and all of the racism that has come with it. So it has become a huge issue. Obviously, it was always an issue, but we have definitely seen, I mean, in New York alone, there have been so many hate crimes. I mean, people on their way to work at the public, there was a whole post about that recently. So it's really bad. And I just think that as we look at these jokes, it's important to keep that in mind, not only because it makes them that much worse, but also it just shows that, like, I think Asian people are one group in comedy that is often the butt of jokes with no remorse. You know, it's okay still to make these blatantly racist jokes. Yeah, Evan.
Just to put a stat on it, Asian hate crimes rose 339% last year.
Damn.
Sickening.
Yeah. Really bad. So now let's look at some comedy. Let's be funny. We're going to start off.
What a segue.
Yeah, what a segue. This is actually, funnily enough, but not so funny, a clip of Chris Rock from the Oscars circa 2016, I think. 2016.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Chris Rock has had his history with Oscars. So here we go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's watch the clip.
As always, the results of tonight's Academy Awards have been tabulated by the accounting firm of Price, Waterhouse, and Cooper. They sent us their most dedicated, accurate, and hard-working representatives. I want you to please welcome Ming Zhu, Bao Ling, and David Moskowitz. If anybody's upset about that joke, just tweet about it on your phone that was also made by these kids, okay?
Ew.
Take that, children.
Yeah, the involvement of kids really also puts the nail
Not
in the
enough
coffin.
that he made fun of Asian people, but he also put kids on who couldn't defend themselves.
Yikes.
Poor kids walking out on the stage.
I mean,
just
if
like,
I was his publicist, I'd be like, don't say anything either, because you're just going to dig this hole deeper. Just say nothing.
Where is Will Smith when you need him?
Right. Banned.
Hey, yeah, it's just like it's insult on top of insult on top of insult, because he drove it home too. He didn't let up. He said the thing about the phones at the end. It's like
the children looked uncomfortable. They looked extremely uncomfortable.
What are you talking about? It was their first appearance at the Oscars. This is iconic for them.
They're just
the budding of
nervous,
their
just like
acting
stage fright.
career. Yeah.
I love the fact that he says, well, I do, you know, if you're going to make fun of that, just tweet on your phone that these kids also made, as if the people in China have a choice about making your iPhone.
Yeah, I was thinking labor is a good episode idea for us, honestly, like child labor. If anything, he kind of planted some seeds for us.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's the DRC that actually makes a lot of it. They do a lot of the mining for iPhones anyway. A lot of other child labor. Just putting that in there, just saying.
Jada was right.
She's rarely wrong. So I should got a whole podcast about, you know, talking about stuff.
he went there.
We
We
should
should
have
have
her.
Red Table Talk. We should go on there and talk about.
We should do a
Seen the Red Table
crossover episode between cancel culture and Red Table Talk.
That'd be
I
good
mean,
promotion.
kind of iconic.
It would be.
That would be so messy.
I'm
I don't
down.
think
I like
anyone
your
makes
theory.
it off that show.
I'll start DMing her right now. Okay.
Wait, what's the theory, Sarah?
Like the theory that like having a podcast like means you know what you're talking about, because I think about us,
Word.
Rogan, you know.
Joe Rogan has a podcast.
Exactly.
And he's
I
a
like to think-
genius.
I just think we should lay out. I mean, obviously, I think it's pretty obvious what's wrong with this, but what's wrong with this joke other than the fact that it's obvious? Sarah.
Well, one thing is like social suicide for the kids. I feel so bad they had to go to school the next day. It's like just embarrassing for them. Yeah, that's a side note though. They're a bigger fish to fry. There are more issues than that.
I think what struck me too was the fact that this is the Oscars. So it's not just the fact that Chris Rock told this offensive joke. It's that it had to pass by so many people. Not only did they write the joke and tell it, they had to cast those children. There was somebody who sat down and was like, okay, this is the joke. We need to cast 3 kids. Like, here we go. There was nowhere along, like, yes, Chris Rock is to blame for telling it and probably writing it. But what happened in the teams of people?
Yeah,
like who?
That was
why?
a
Nobody
costume
paused.
designer that gave them briefcases. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it went that far. There were little
It went that
aesthetic
far.
details.
Right. And it was just so stereotypical. Like, wow. Like, we've heard it 1,000 times. You've heard it once, you heard it again.
I also just feel like the joke is so useless. Like there was no reason or even setup that was like it was so cuttable. It was so cuttable.
Yeah.
Like there was no
yeah.
need to keep that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me so sad because it's like these little kids, like, you know, their parents, they probably thought like this is such a huge opportunity, like literally to be on the Oscars stage at such a young age, like especially if you're aspiring actors, like that's really exciting. And then to be paraded out for a very tone deaf joke and then doubled down on it too about like child labor. It's just super gross. Like,
and it didn't go unaddressed either. I mean, there were tons of people who spoke out against this joke after the fact. A lot of famous Asian actors were even saying like, this was such a low hack joke that you told, like, haha, Asians are gonna like, aren't we past this? This is so, it's just lazy too. It's like not funny and also offensive. And we're still here to, this is, you know, what, however many years later, and we're still telling the same jokes. Come on.
Diversity. The Oscars has diversity. There's a Black person and Asian people on the stage.
Oh my God. Yeah, if you just saw a screenshot of that, you'd be like,
it looks good,
wow.
Right? How far we've progressed.
Right. All right.
It's kind of like, I just want to, I don't know. It's like Family Guy random. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how they have those random cuts in like cartoons where it's just something, but it just doesn't work necessarily in the cartoon, but definitely not at the Oscars 2016.
I also think like going like to your point, Sarah, I totally like, I think it gets normalized so much because the conversation was pitched as something that was like, oh yeah, it's funny. Like they like it. The stereotypes aren't that bad. They're not like violent in nature, right? Like they can, you know, we can get away with saying that, but only recently has that conversation gotten reframed with context that it is violent and like violence is happening and there are real people that are suffering. And I feel like only then has it become something that anyone cares about. But before that, it was very like, this is fine. They don't care. It's cool. And it just like was never cool.
Yeah, Evan.
Do you think that's because of the stereotype of the model minority? It's like, oh, they're so nice, you know.
Oh, I think so.
They won't get upset.
I believe that 100%. I also think a lot of times crimes against Asian people are belittled or seen as less than because they're seen as the strong model minority, right? That they don't actually have the same problems that other minorities have in this country, which is just not true at all.
Yeah.
I
feel like people forget that America put Asian people in concentration camps.
Right.
Like, I feel like people really just conveniently forgot that was a huge thing that happened. And then like, they're like, oh, they're the white people of POC. Like, and it's like,
I didn't even know that fact. I really didn't.
Wow. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was our immigration ban for super, super long. Like post World War II, we were not letting anyone into this country.
I wasn't taught that in.
Did you all read Farewell to Manzanar in high school?
Yes. Yeah.
No. I'm from Michigan. I learned nothing in the Midwest.
Ohio.
I feel like it was required reading when I was in high school, but I just feel like it's not so much.
It was
anymore.
Something we read in school. For our viewers at home, if you want to learn a little bit more about the history of Asian people in America and how they've been treated, I highly suggest reading Farewell to Manzanar. It's a great read.
I'll do it.
Yeah, but
if you guys want to learn more about the Asian American experience, you should watch this podcast because I'm Asian American and you should read anything I write and you should like all the stuff I do.
Yeah, it's actually quite anti-Asian if you don't. It's pretty racist if you don't watch this podcast. For Mehek.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, friends. I think we have to take a quick ad break here, you know, get our sponsor in. So we'll see you after these messages.
Bye.
School lunch. The best time of the day. The time when you get to whip out the sweaty Wonder Bread your mum stuffed in a plastic bag. Scrumptious. But, oh no, here we go again. The Asian kid in class is eating a vibrant, flavorful meal organised neatly into a bento box to remind you that your mum loves watching The Bachelor more than you. And you just can't resist telling him it smells like piss, can you? Introducing Baloney Mist, a spritz bottle filled with a cold cut that you can spray in front of your face to squash any scent of ethnic cuisine that's trying to ruin your lunchtime. This is America after all, is what the bumper sticker says that comes with every purchase. Baloney Mist comes in 3 other exclusive scents: Velveeta, Frito Pie, and Nesquik Strawberry Milk. Baloney Mist, so you can stay your bland, culturally insensitive, unseasoned self.
All right, we're back. All
right, welcome back. All right. All right, welcome back from the ads. Here we are again, Cancel Culture Pod. Before we left, we were reviewing some truly horrific jokes about Asian people. I think we need a palate cleanser. I think we need to see a good example and have a little bit of faith restored in humanity. So why don't we take a look at this good example? I believe it is Choi, who is doing his own stand-up special in this.
And I look out into the crowd. You can't tell us apart. You can. You know how many Mexicans my mom walks up to and goes, Filipino? There's a way you can tell Asians apart from other Asians. It's by their accent, and only if they have accents. Out of all the Asians, Koreans are the easiest, because when a Korean person talks, they sound like they've been smoking weed all day. Like right before they talk, just... Koreans sound like Asian ghosts. Vietnamese, I love Vietnamese people. I love you. You're the smallest of the Asians. They talk real fast. You know they talk that fast. They talk like that real fast, like do what you say to me like that do.
I love him. I mean, I do think that there's something to be said that I don't think somebody who is not Asian could tell any of those jokes, but it's hilarious. It's and so his physical comedy and timing is, oh God, so good.
I think it's so interesting too how he uses accents in a way that's respectful. And also he prefaces a lot of things like, I love Vietnamese people. And then you pan to the audience, it's like so many different people, right? Like so diverse of an audience, so many Asian people sitting and watching. And then, I mean, the other things we saw with accents were just so incredibly racist and hateful. And it was interesting to see an Asian person use this as a tool to combat racism. Like you can't tell us apart, right? I thought that was cool.
Yeah. There are a lot of really great Asian comedians who do that. Margaret Cho, Jimmy Yang,
Alice Wong.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a key element to comedy. It's like make fun of your own.
Right. Yes. That I think is why I was cautious with this episode. I guess that could be the case with any of the episodes we look at that deal with race. But yeah.
But it goes back to the rule of like Mehek's OG rule. No one's holding a gun to your head. Yeah, you don't have to tell a joke about Asian people. In fact, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe we shouldn't. Like, it's like, it is one of those things. And I think to Elayna's point about this set of jokes that Choi tells is it's so specific, you know, it's not just, I'm going to do an Asian accent. It's talking about the difference and how it's racist to think we all sound the same and look the same. These are what the difference is. And it's accurate too. Like he's not just putting on some Asian accent. He's being specific about what people sound like and actual things about the culture. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he's speaking Korean in the first part. I don't actually know, but I would assume he's not just making up words. But so it's things like that then you look at, you know, the white people who are just doing racist accents and they're just, you know, I'm going to put on an Asian accent and then tell racist jokes within the Asian accent is what is really insane about it.
Yeah. In this case, it's just like really observational. It's like really impressive observational comedy that no one can deny because it's so well done. Like the ghost stuff, like it's ridiculous, it's absurd, but it is really valid. I think that's why it's funny. So funny.
Yeah. Mehek.
I also think there's something to be said about like being a white comic and being uncomfortable with telling those jokes that I think that's like a good place to be. Like I think there's this weird pressure to be able to joke about everything in order to be funny or like a successful comedian. Be like, obviously we've kind of created that challenge for ourselves, being able to write jokes for a lot of different topics, but I think a lot of comedians take that on as like some kind of badge of honor when I don't think that's the case at all. Like the most successful comedians I can think of, at least in my definition of that, which is that they make me laugh, are people that found their lane or found their thing that they really want to explore, or that they like a format, whether it's animation or stand-up or whatever, and they just like rock it there and they do their thing. You don't have to be this like, I don't know. I think, and maybe that speaks to like a greater cultural thing too, in terms of like work and always grinding and hustling and being the best. Well, I don't know, but like I do think you're going to produce a better product if you make it specific, right? In anything. So like the idea that you have to be overarching able to make a joke about anything. Not only is that detrimental to your success, just in terms of like your mental health and your ability to like conquer what you need to do, but it's also potentially hateful because now you're going on stage with something half baked that could really impact a lot of people. And jokes, as we always say, like they have power. Like they're not stupid little things. Like you have to be really smart, first of all, to write a funny joke. You have to be empathetic to do one that's not punching down. Like these are important traits to have as a successful comedian. And I think they just get sacrificed in the name of being known sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Heck, hashtag girl boss.
Yeah. Hashtag drop the mic. Yeah. I think to quote a chuck it. To quote Aparna Nancherla, who's another female Asian comic, she once said that, you know, I think it's pretty ridiculous. I'm paraphrasing. I think it's pretty ridiculous that in today's day and age, people still say it's just a joke, or, you know, I'm just kidding. You know, it's ridiculous to think that your words don't actually have an impact on the people you're talking to, especially if your audience looks like you.
Also, if you have to say that was a joke, it wasn't funny.
If you ever have to say that was a joke or I'm not a racist, that wasn't funny. And yes, you are a racist.
Yeah. Why do you feel the need to have a disclaimer? Also, if your audience looks like you and you're still saying it was a joke, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Re-examine, please.
Yeah. Evan.
Yeah, I think there's this hangover from the 70s and 80s that, you know, if it's shocking, it's funny. And that's the whole thing is like, oh, I'm just going to shock people. And the tension that released in the room, and it often has this result, just forces a laugh out of people, because when people are nervous, they laugh. And so it's just like an easy, like, just say fuck on stage and everybody laughs. And that's just hack.
Probably fuck.
Me writing that down for my little routine. I'm like, just
my first stand-up act was just me saying the C word for like a minute straight. Seriously. So there you go.
But also, I just want to say, as a funny person, I want people to like genuinely bust a gut. I don't want them to like, haha, pity laugh, like, haha, I'm uncomfortable. No, I want them to be crying every time they hear me speak. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've, handled that. I would love to move into the writer's room. This is the writer's room.
You do it every episode.
I know. I have fun here, guys. I have fun. It's my outlet.
All right. As you should.
So the writer's room, where we write a joke. Hopefully that doesn't get us canceled. I think this is a difficult one, friends. I think this is a challenging one. Why don't we start with some prompt ideas and see what we can come up with? I know there was a joke about, we had talked about maybe making a joke about stereotypes and about how wrong they are. So there were a few of those.
Yeah, I have an idea. I don't know how we're going to run with it, but one of the main things that we actually haven't touched upon today, one of the main stereotypes is elephant in the room, the small penis thing, right?
So maybe not an elephant.
Evan just looked so shocked and scarred. We say penis.
Yeah. The word was penis.
We use proper anatomy in this podcast.
Yeah, penis.
You know.
No, I don't. Can you explain?
May I?
This is a talk for later.
Image? Yeah, Sarah was talking.
I'll have to...
Yeah, allow me. So, the whole small penis thing. So I was thinking, like why is that stereotype a thing, right? And my theory is that, white men want to make themselves feel better, so they create this like a ranking system, and almost randomly, I guess, it just got like thrown at Asian people.
Not random, but
not random.
Not random,
I guess, but I mean, like the size of the penis thing, like it makes sense that it was.
I feel like it's tools of emasculation, like I feel like it's like in the ranking, like the most masculine, sorry, I didn't mean to, like the most masculine sexualized people are not allowed to be people who are smart, and that's Black men, right? And then like the most smart model minority are emasculated and don't have any sexuality. They're like children, so you can patronize them, and that the bottom, that's Asian. You know what I mean? I don't think it was random. Right. I think it was so intentional to rank people, but that's
so it's directly linked. That makes perfect sense.
I guess ranking races is never good.
No.
Hot take.
I also think it's tied to the fetishization of Asian women. So you
Mhm.
belittle the men so that you can fetishize the women.
Yep.
Wow.
And then the opposite, same thing with Black women. But continuing on.
Who's doing this stuff? Who decided this was okay?
Yeah.
Right? Mehek is just learning about racism right now.
I just don't like the idea that like some guy out there was
Wait,
like,
you don't
"I
like
know what'll
racism,
really get 'em." I know how
I
to
thought
get
you were
our
a huge
Asian
fan.
women. Well, only sometimes. I mean, it's really specific. Like, it's not a blanket thing that I just like all the time.
Selective
Just
racism.
kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not a racist. Just kidding. And it was funny that time. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh my god. Continue, Sarah.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. So the not random at all, the actually very pointed decision to make Asian men out as having small penises. I thought we could do like a kind of therapy session to like some little dick in the locker room or something who's trying to like belittle his peers for having little peepees. I don't know.
A white guy, you mean?
A white guy, for
Yes,
sure. Yeah, you know, like some sort of a heart to heart.
What does that joke sound like, Sarah?
Dun, dun, dun,
I do this to
dun,
Sarah.
Are we gonna
every
take
week.
it?
Everything.
You really gonna go there right now?
It's in the clouds right now. Just give me a second. Someone give that, and then I'll do some calculations in the background. I'll come back with something.
All right. Well, I was gonna bring up how I don't know what the joke is, to be fair, but I just thought maybe there's a joke in the union of Jewish people and Chinese people, because on Christmas Jewish people eat Chinese food. I don't know if there's something there, but that's something I was thinking about. And then Mehek mentioned that Muslim people also eat Chinese food on Christmas.
Okay, I do want to say I don't know if that's true. My Muslim family, specific Muslim family eats Chinese food on Christmas, so therefore I'm just deciding that they all do.
Extrapolating.
But I guess, I mean, why wouldn't they, right? Because like, what else
you
are they gonna
monolithed
eat?
yourself,
right?
But what are they gonna eat? Like, they can't eat Christmas ham. That's what you do, right? Like, we don't eat ham.
Well, if
So,
you want to
like-
go, if you're not Christian and you want to go out to eat on Christmas, there's really
Nothing's
not that
open.
much else to eat.
Right. I mean, it is a federal holiday, which is kind of crazy to think about all the
Gross.
things that are not federal holidays. But yeah, there's nothing open on
Ugh.
Christmas.
I'm so sick of the government.
Ah,
But I like
man.
I like that setup. There's definitely a joke in there somewhere.
But I think like the way you twist it is more like, I feel like the joke would end up being more about the government or more about like Jewish people and less about the actual, like the Asian culture's put in there, but I don't know if it's like.
Well, I was going to say something along the lines of like, I feel like a trope of Jewish mothers is that they like always want you to eat more. So I feel like they'd get along really well on Christmas with Chinese moms because you're going to eat at a Chinese, I don't know.
Oh, so you're picturing it like mom to mom.
Yeah.
Like mom to mom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole joke. Maybe let's move on.
All right.
Okay.
We tried it. We tried.
There's nothing there. Okay. Another prompt, anybody?
Like people, I think something that happens, like people get made fun of for the food they eat at school, like different cultures.
True.
So I don't know if that's like a good breeding ground for a joke, but I know that that's a thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an insane thing. And considering the amount of weird shit that American people eat and like
Right.
American kids,
Yeah.
That
like,
part.
You're
you
eating
know?
spray cheese, Stanley. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's not even cheese. Yeah. But I wonder.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but I feel like that would be hard to make not as an Asian person. Like, I don't know how I would respectfully talk about food and like put, you know what I mean? Like,
I guess it could be like if you like drop your kid off at daycare, older than that, at preschool, and they're and you see there's like this rotten little kid who's like bullying this like Asian kid for eating like delicious like Szechuan noodles, like something amazing, something that we want to eat.
Yeah.
And then I guess Jamie's like punchline of like, you're eating spray cheese, Stanley, or whatever the fuck else.
Or sun
I don't
butter.
know.
Sun
Yeah.
butter.
Yeah, no, or like just like the punchline has to be about the bully.
The weird. Okay,
Yeah,
got
like
it.
the weird
Yeah.
American.
Okay.
The punchline has to be about
see
the
where
fact
you're
that like really you're gonna make fun of this kid for having like a 5-course amazingly made
Exactly,
like fish and
balanced
spice and noodles and like amazing food
Deliciousness,
that
right.
has
Yeah.
actual like aroma and taste to it, and
And
you're over here
nutrients.
eating like
Nutrients, yeah.
crackers with dust on
I
top.
don't-
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
I don't know if this is too like okay, maybe I'm venturing into another topic, which is fat shaming, but like, is there, because in my head when I think about that joke, where to take it, it makes sense to me of like, okay, an American kid, what is in the American diet that is like laughable? Okay, obviously childhood obesity is like a huge problem in America. If they're eating like McDonald's for lunch or whatever for lunch, and this child's eating like a home cooked meal that smells, you know, whatever weird way. But then it's like, I don't want to fat shame a hypothetical child. But then I'm like, is it okay if the hypothetical child's being racist? Where does it cancel out?
Right.
So many.
Can we fat shame racists?
Fat shame a kid as long as they're a racist.
Yeah.
I'm going to extrapolate it. Fat
I
shaming
feel
racists.
like you run
All right.
into dangerous territory with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Although
Yeah.
fat
We'll have to
shaming, fat
talk about
shaming
it in our
feels like
fat
a
shaming.
good episode, by the way.
Right, I think
Oh,
so
that's
too.
definitely
I think we
an
need to talk
episode.
about fatness.
Body
on
shaming
one
in
of these.
general, yeah.
Yes.
I like
There's
that
other
one.
weird American food though that isn't directly like highly calorific. Like there's all that weird food that was eaten in the 70s, like the Jello, you know, like
Oh yeah.
isn't that a thing? Like when everything was made with like
Also,
gelatin
like
and like
kale.
disgusting. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah. What is?
There's tons
yeah,
of gross
that's true.
American food.
What are the rules here? I mean, make fun of the bully, not the bullied, right?
Yeah.
And it does feel like the second you pull in the smelling weird food thing again, you're like playing into the stereotypes. Is that
Right.
Yeah.
But
part
I
of
think
the-
if you acknowledge that it's wrong, like I think that was a big part of
Yeah.
all of our
Right.
rule sets was like you have to blatantly acknowledge that the racism and stereotyping is incorrect and
like,
offensive.
why
and
do we
wrong.
make fun of Asian
Right.
food when our food
Right.
is so fucked up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does
Because
cheese
it's like-
whiz
yeah.
really smell like, guys? What does cheese whiz really smell?
Yeah. I'm more concerned that your food doesn't have a smell because then it's
Right.
just made of plastic. Like
Right.
what's
Mhm.
happening?
Twinkies?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a joke in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
It's
that
just
one.
whether it's the
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
I know
one.
that there was also discussion of writing a joke about the idea that like Asian people, like people are like, oh, we're past racism. We have representation. Like Crazy Rich Asians exists, you know?
Yes.
One
And-
film.
Yes.
Yeah,
Some
one
swoop.
film. And that, but then like you look at people who are getting the roles of Asian people, like white people who are getting Asian roles, and you're like, what is happening?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is,
You're right.
yeah. That's
It's called
absurd
yellow
for
face,
sure.
by the way.
Ah,
Which
This is
also
true.
inherently sounds a little racist.
I know.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
By little, I mean a lot.
I mean, that's the point because it is racist. So it should sound racist when you're talking
Yeah.
about it. We
Yeah.
don't need
It's called
to
we
make
call
it fluffy.
blackface.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We don't call it
Yeah.
African American face.
Yeah. Well, not all Black people are African American, also.
True.
Word. You heard it here first, folks.
Wait, what?
That's like when you're like, I had this gym teacher growing up who was so terrified to say the word Black because he like he would say like African American, and like there were people in our school who were not African
Feel like I'm
American,
not
like
from
we
Africa. Right.
were like truly just Black from another place, and
Right.
like we're never American. at
No,
all.
it's my favorite when middle-aged white people are like, Black with a question mark. Like they
bad
think
word
in their
for
head
me.
it's a curse word, and so they
Yeah.
don't know how to like be normal.
That's
Oh,
so
it's
goofy.
funny.
Anyway, so
So yeah, I wrote this little thing. I think it could work in Evan's voice. But it definitely needs like tweaking. Okay, so all right. So it would just start being like, you know, I guess I just don't understand why there's such a push for diversity in Hollywood. I mean, I feel like we've made a lot of progress as an industry. It used to be really different. Like back when I was a kid, we only had Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And kids today have Asian American A-listers like Emma Stone and Keanu Reeves. That would be my thing.
I like that a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
funny.
like that because for very specific reason.
Why?
Yeah, what's up?
Breakfast with Tiffany's was made like 10 years before I was born. So
Wait, how old are? Or never mind.
I'm not gonna talk about that. No, I think I like that a lot. I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, let's find another example. Was there another?
I have a
example
really good one. It's
What?
really egregious. And the actor who played the part actually has come out and apologized for it since. So there's this movie when I was a kid, called Short Circuit, about
Wow, the silence after you.
I haven't seen
what
Evan really said, I'm not that old. Let me tell you a reference none of you will get.
Well, this is how old I am specifically, and I think old shaming is another episode.
Ages?
I feel like it's suspended
I
if
feel
it's
like
your
no.
parent.
We're okay with old shaming on this podcast. We're not really gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
Just
And
against
I'd like to
Evan.
thank our sponsor, the AARP. It was called Short Circuit. Fisher Stevens, who has since won an Academy Award for directing, played a character in it who is, I believe, Indian, and it's actually really egregious. Can I play a clip?
Yeah, I would love
Evan
to
wants
see
to
this.
share
The
a
collective
clip.
gas.
I know how.
The collective gas.
All right,
Sharing
hold on.
That was another
Alright,
ages.
screen sharing?
Well, the cat is dragged in a sack for 4 eyes, that is for sure.
That's a white
That's a white person?
Oh, childhood, this is a barrel of monkeys. Oh, let us go scrape up some female chicks. An opportunity to spread your legs. Good to smell the breezes, Girlie, come quick, girlie, danger. Come on, you. Oh, my God.
What planet is this guy from?
Oh, you are girl.
India
As far as I know.
or not.
I actually want to throw up. This is shocking.
I am sick of
This
wearing
is-
a dress in his family. Well, I have to go to the Jack, so we wait for me.
The John.
Okay,
I
I've
like
seen
it.
enough. I've seen
So
enough.
that is Fisher.
good
His name is
representation.
Fisher Stevens. That's how white he is. He was once married to Michelle Pfeiffer, actually.
What?
What?
What were you doing, Michelle? They're divorced now.
Wait, also Hollywood is so hilarious that they went so far to try to make him like how much time did he spend in hair and makeup to make him look like an Indian man instead of just casting an Indian person for the role? And then it was so
Yeah,
God,
he's super white, and he's actually since come out. And,
Can you show
and-
us a picture of him?
Sure.
I feel like
I
kids
can't even
in
close
middle
my mouth.
school. I feel like kids that I went to middle school with, like when they see me, like that's what they thought I was like. Like that is what they saw in their
By the
head.
way, that movie.
But you're
was
not
a-
even Indian.
That movie was
I'm, like,
a
close
big
enough.
hit, a huge hit.
it was a huge hit.
Mehek
Yeah,
being
it was a
racist to
huge-
herself.
It was a huge hit.
It reminds me of like
And-
Indiana Jones, which is like
Mehek and I
sorry,
are on our own conversation.
screaming. Indiana Jones, where they
They made a
brown
sequel.
faced everybody in the movie
They
in
should
the
make a
80s
spin-off.
instead of hiring Indian actors. No, just me.
Jesse,
Hold
for
on.
that whole part of the podcast, just put Mehek and I on one side of the screen and my dad and Elayna and Sarah on the other. We were having two separate combos.
I think I should be in the middle like this.
That's
Sarah.
Fisher Stevens.
Like the
He's
Brady.
in-
You
he's
guys,
in
look at this
Succession.
man. Get it
Oh.
together. Look at this man.
Wait, I know
Wait,
this guy.
that-
In
I can imagine
Succession.
too.
Yeah, he's in Succession. He plays the
He's
PR
like
guy.
a super
Oh.
successful guy.
He won an
probably
Academy
has
Award
remorse.
for best documentary direction for The Cove. Really good movie.
Wow. I
He's
guess
come
we all
out-
have our we have to pay our dues with the terrible shitty racist
I mean,
stuff,
to be
I
fair,
guess.
to be fair to him, he was an actor at the time, and like
Right,
this
that's
was
what I'm saying.
okay back then in the 80s. I
Ugh.
mean, that movie was a
Yeah.
huge hit. They made a sequel. He played that character again.
It's this how
second
many
time.
levels it has to pass. This is just why we need diversity in every part of this industry, because how did it pass so many people's desk and everyone was like, yeah, brown face this guy. Yeah. That's
Not only brown
definitely-
face him, but that movie did really well. Do it again.
All right, we need to write a joke, guys. We need to
Yeah.
because this
Yeah,
is abhorrent.
Well,
And
Mehek just gave her.
Yeah, no, I feel like I
let's
got
put it
this.
in
I feel
there.
like I feel like I
All
have.
right,
it.
let's hear it. Let's
Okay.
hear it.
Ooh.
Oh
All right.
shit, he's confident. I don't like it.
Because Mehek did a really good job of
That's
writing
fair.
a
It is
good
actually
joke
Mehek.
There you go.
in advance of the episode, which is
Oh.
cheating.
Okay.
As if all of them.
Damn. Yeah, why are you trying to throw my heck under the bus?
Yeah,
this
no,
week?
I'm
Isn't
breaking.
she
I'm
your
breaking
child?
the fourth wall here.
This is
She's
this
your
is how you
child.
This is Asian.
this is the
This is
the
Asian
Shapiro
hate. I won't
induction into the
say
family. We just roast each other, Mehek. Welcome aboard.
I like
okay,
it.
all right. I think I got it. I think because Mehek did such a good job. All right,
Thanks,
ready?
Dad.
Ready?
Yes.
Wait, I'm gonna take a sip of water first.
Oh,
my
God.
How did you ask us if we were ready 8 times?
Welcome to my life.
All right. So I guess I'm not sure why there's such a push for diversity in Hollywood these days. I mean, I feel like we've made a lot of progress as an industry, I mean, it was really different when I was growing up. Like when I was a kid, the actors who played other races, the actors who pretended to be Asian in film were the B characters, let me start over. Sorry.
Just read the joke.
I am.
I like when he riffs. It takes us to a fun new place.
All right,
It's like
ready?
we're all on the edge of our seats.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes. Jesus. Yes.
I don't feel like you're ready yet. All right, ready?
We're literally
Like everyone
so ready.
understands my pain now.
I guess I don't understand why there's such a push for diversity in Hollywood these days. I mean, like we've made a lot of progress as an industry. When I was a kid, it was really different. The actors who pretended to be Asian in film were the sidekicks, like Fisher Stevens in Short Circuit. Remember that? That was really awful. Today, kids have A-listers and they're the star of the movies. Look at Emma Stone, Keanu Reeves.
Perfect.
Get 'em.
Loved it. I think it followed the rules.
I think so too.
Didn't make Asian people the butt of the joke. We're good.
Mhm.
I think it's solid, but still calls out some pretty fucked up racism. So there we go.
I feel like I learned so much today on this podcast about
Me
pop
too.
culture and film.
The
and
more you know.
I learned some historical things today.
yeah, we educated you.
You opened my
American history.
mind. It's pretty dope. Yeah.
Sarah's got some homework.
Farewell to
Some things to think
Manzanar.
about. I'm gonna go to the
Fisher
park.
Stevens.
Yeah.
And now I've got a new movie to watch. I can't wait.
Oh no.
To watch Short
It's really
Circuit.
bad.
Well,
I felt really seen.
I'm
No,
glad.
go ahead. Sorry.
You felt really seen as a Pakistani person watching a brown
White
face of an
person.
Indian
Wait.
person.
I want to
Representation
ask
in
Sarah,
film.
do you feel like we did it? You were really nervous in advance. You were biting your nails. Are
I
you
was
okay?
biting my nails. What a shame. Like we're going. I think we did it. I think we did it. Yes.
Amazing. Well, let's hear what the audience thinks. Do you agree with Sarah? Do you think we accomplished what we set out to do? Would my dad get canceled? Do you want to cancel him? Let us know. Message us at @cancelculture_pod on Instagram and tell us what you think. And if you're brave enough, maybe you want to try your hand at writing a joke about Asian people. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we
We
want to
might.
see it.
Uh-oh. If you feel confident, you want to send it in, we might even feature it to roast it or to praise it on the pod. So hit us up. And that's all, folks. See you next time. Are we going to get sued for saying that's all, folks?
Cancel.
Culture.
Podcast.